Welcome back, lords and ladies. Game 3 of the afternoon is coming right up with OpTic Academy taking on Counter Logic Gaming. And while the split has been grim so far for CLGA Academy, they did pull off a win in the TSM rivalry match yesterday.
Yeah, they looked pretty good doing it too, all things considered. They managed to put out a lot of early aggression and then kept it up over the course of the game. They took first blood, first turret, first dragon, and had 2 turrets down, all before the 15-minute mark. So if they can keep that kind of aggression up against OpTic, they have a chance of leapfrogging them in the standings.
Absolutely. And while CLG has struggled to find a consistent formula, so have their opponents.
Yeah, OpTic are currently tied for 8th at the bottom of the standings with only 2 wins, and one of those is off the back of Acadian kind of smurfing in week 1. So we've talked a lot about Palafox in the mid lane, but Dhokla has quietly been topping the damage charts in his position this split thus far. OpTic's best shot will be to play through these 2 solo laners and try and snowball an advantage.
Hopefully get something going. Now let's get into the roster rundown. On the blue side, it is going to be OpTic Gaming. That means in the top lane, it is Dhokla, jungling, Kadir. Palafox in mid, bot is Andy, and support Winter.
Which means a red side for this game is Counter Logic Gaming. In the top lane, it's Fallnbandit, jungle OmarGod, mid is Tuesday, autofill in the bot lane.
Auto, pretty decent yesterday. 4-0-3 on the Callista game was able to really be a big portion of why they were able to get those team fights in their favor. Everybody actually, as you said, was playing pretty well, but Auto definitely having a game for himself.
Yeah, it was one of those games where everything just kind of goes right, as well as the fact that they were making good plays. It was very reminiscent, actually, of that C9 game we just watched, where everything's just going great, but they had a very different comp. They had GP and these kinds of things, and just using all the globals well. They had so many globals in that game, which was kind of the opposite of what we saw previously.
And we are into picks and bans for game trace of the day. Tom Kench on the ban list, and CLG Academy, it's always been the Zoe. We just put her there to start things off.
Yeah, just get that champ out of there. Maybe just get her out of the game. The Tom Kench was used pretty well yesterday. That was one of the globals that we were talking about.
Yeah.
It was him, it was GP, and I think it was Galio that they used to kind of snowball that game. So already OpTic says, you won with this stuff yesterday, you will not get it today. The Galio ban coming in as well.
Azir finally taken off the board. It kind of seems like people are okay with playing against Azir. They'll take the team fights as it comes, but this time banned out. CLG doesn't want to see it.
Yeah, it's just a champion that I think everyone knows it's the best champ in the mid lane, basically, but it's not like dominating or crazy to play against. You know what it does. It's a very well understood champion, and it's fine to ban out. It's fine to leave up, but generally speaking, it will be a large impact on the game if things go even.
What it does do, taking it out, means you can engage more, and that possibly means OpTic Academy wants to get into the back line of these fights. We'll have to see when Rise is taken out, so it actually is just a Palafox hit to start things off. I feel like that's good.
Yeah,
and it's a Camille for Dhokla.
A lot of people taking that Camille early on here. Like you said, a lot of focus for Palafox too, so we talk about one of the 2 solo laners probably needing to step up. Well, it looks like it's probably going to be Dhokla after all these bans in the mid lane. And the Camille is one that we haven't seen him play a ton, I don't think, but he has played a lot of carries, generally speaking. He's had Aurelia games, he's had Trundle games. He's always looking for something to kind of get the edge in that matchup, and he's going to have it against the GP here.
I always love a Trundle game. It's just fun to watch him beat on people. The GP is what he's up against, as you said. Sejuani could be there to help in the fight, as well as lock it down once we get into these scuffles. OmarGod having a pretty decent Sejuani. Gragas, the bigger sided champions. He loves them.
Yeah, he's played on the main roster where they give you Gragas duty for 20 games in a row or something like that. Sejuani as well, fiddling a similar boat. Haven't seen his Olaf in forever. I kind of missed that. Played that a couple times last year. And took over some games, but not quite the Olaf meta right now.
Yeah, not when you have Jarvan. You just get locked up. You get to run around in the cage. Tristana being locked in here for Andy. See what the last answer is. What is the focus? Doesn't look like they're really going to keep it matched up at all, as we have top laners, junglers, and 80 carries. Oh no, it could be. What am I talking about? It could be an 80 carry.
We'll see. They have to grab it here. Not many 80 carry bans yet, so at the very least, it won't be as bad as last game where you're forced onto Bane. And as a result, they will go mid. So this is a, yeah, maybe you're right. But I think this is a good strategy for CLG. They get their global again, this time in the mid lane. With the Galio banned out, this is another good option for it, as well as the fact that it's going to be mismatch, and they already put 3 bans in the top lane. They can put more, which is what they're doing right now. So they're going to have 5 bans thrown at the enemy mid laner, as well as having theirs taken away right now.
Like, look, just look for Cloud9 when they banned out all of the liquid bot laners. Let's just ban all the mid laners away from Palafox. Why not?
He hasn't shown like too many champions. It's pretty early in his career, so he doesn't have this big history that everyone knows.
Yeah.
He's played a fair amount of Azir games. He did have that one crazy Vigar game that won them a game. That was their other win that they got. So, yeah, no surprise.
I wonder if Corky comes into the mix for him or something. Like you said, there isn't a big known list for him. But his pool could be pretty deep.
We'll have to see. 80's
been wearing floaties. Yeah. Stayed at
just
the top.
Floating on the Azir pool. Like, yep, don't ban that out, guys. Orianna comes in as well. See if OpTic goes for another 80 carry ban. Probably would want to be the Kog'Maw if you're looking to limit the hyper scaling focus, as well as having Kalista taken out get rid of the early game. So it would make Tristana kind of the only OP S tier, A tier, whatever you want to call it, 80 carry available.
3, 2, 1. Okay.
That's a champion that had seen kind of a strange boost on 8.2's priority, where all of a sudden everyone was kind of banning it and picking it. I think Otto was one of the 80 carries who was very happy with Xayah. So I guess they're putting the focus on that champion instead.
Otto. Do you pick now or counter with AD as they do on TL? Oh, they're going to counter with the AD again.
Yeah,
push back a little bit. Feel okay with it.
It's also the only shared champion pool left, so if you specifically want to support. Yeah, it's not like they're going to take another 80 carry here.
Oh, no, I wanted that. Yeah. Oh, my word.
Or maybe, maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Let's see what they lock in. 2 more here for OpTic Academy. Yeah. That's a Syndra in the mid lane. And we'll see what we have going into that support position.
Yeah, I like the Syndra pick here. TF mostly gets his work done from roaming. Does have a good gank setup, though, with the gold card. But Syndra, with the Jarvan, having what is probably going to be a stronger pre-6 laning phase, and even after 6 if they want to try and kill the TF, you can limit those roams with the best CC in death.
The best CC is death. Ezreal locked in there, so it looks like Otto's going to be able to keep himself safe. Tristana, Braum on the other side, one of my favorite bot lanes. Kind of gives Braum his own little rocket jump away if you still have your W up and you're not using it to protect. Great time. It's going to have the work cut out for him on the side of Otto and Phil. Probably just kind of farm it out for them. How you liking the Palafox Tuesday lane? Syndra TF.
It depends how Tuesday wants to play it. Sometimes you end up sitting really far away and just wild carding and like, don't
check them out.
Don't notice me here. So maybe you get one of those laning phases. I expect Palafox to play it pretty aggressively.
Yep.
And it's a bit of a weird comp from CLG where like OpTic wants to snowball the top side with the Camille, obviously. You have the TF to protect there. Your bot lane is relatively uninteractive. You can maybe set things up with the Alistar. But there's not like a clear, we want to do this, other than we want to lane for a little while and then get out of it.
Both 2 and 5. Looking to get that 3rd win here. Instead, the other one to the 6th loss. Dhokla on that Camille, possibly putting up the top of those damage numbers once again. That side. Yeah, I pointed to the wrong side. I had one job.
The trick.
I had one job. I don't blow dry my hair in the morning in the mirror, so maybe I'll never get that. I don't understand it.
I don't do much with the mirror, to be honest.
There you go.
We see
you learn.
OpTic going for a bit of a tricky invade here. 5 manning up through the lane, trying to wrap around this GP. Might work.
Oh, no, it's abort.
30 seconds until minions
4-9 4. We're going to abort. There's 5 members top lane.
We got a bogey on my tail.
And they will keep safe, but now they'll know. So whether it's thwarted or not, it looks like OpTic Academy still is just going to go ahead and get some deep boards in here.
Yep, going to be able to see where OmarGod is starting. This is interesting because, especially with Kadir having J4 in the Syndra lane, you can go for some real cheesy level 2 stuff with both you guys learning QE right away. Have a lot of CC and damage to throw at Tuesday potentially, but
get the good Gouda.
The best cheese.
The best. Doran's Blade versus Relic top start for Fallnbandit.
So they have that deep vision. They're not going to see the Sejuani. Going to know that Omar is starting down on the blue side. And maybe that buys some time for Dhokla to play really aggressive up in the top lane. Gives him some information to know what to do. But with that big invade that happened in the top side, of course, CLG went for that mirror ward. So both teams are going to know pretty clearly where the enemy team is starting on their camps.
They do stuff with the mirror. Down the bot side, OmarGod just finishing up his wolves. Looks like both junglers will be meeting on the top side of the map. Dhokla has just about 90% health. Same thing for Fallnbandit as they go back and forth. Blues are grabbed, and junglers are off and running. Bot lane's farming out slow as they keep that minion wave pretty much farm for farm. And there's the damage we were kind of expecting in the early game from Dhokla.
Whoa.
Quick level 2 says we're going first. That's going to be a lockdown on concussive blows. Very nicely done. And Andy and Winter take a bit of a lead in the bot lane.
Yeah, and you see Palafox with the mid lane priority, trying to get some pressure down on that red buff on a little solo invade, but OmarGod snatches that one up. Nice flash force for free. Topside trade, getting a little dicey, but Fallnbandit taking Grasp instead of Kleptomancy. So with those Klepto nerfs that came in, and maybe specifically in this matchup, wants to focus more on that kind of trading. And Dhokla taking the Comet this time around instead of the Aftershock. So Freak won't be happy. Viper won't be happy, apparently. Maybe it's a matchup-specific thing as well. Against the Akali, maybe you have to play it more defensively, and Aftershock is better suited for that, whereas you're expected to be the aggressor here, and that's why you see the Comet come in. So, who knows exactly? We'll have to see more as Camille starts getting played, what people pick into which situations.
Dhokla definitely going for trades in lane, much more than you usually see. Fallnbandit's able to stay safe with that Grasp, though, so it's a good trade and call. And that ruin pick by him. Dodges over one, gets the AD shield, goes for the quick attack. He's got 3 caster minions on him. Is it enough? No, the flash from Fallnbandit to start things off. And Dhokla sitting right where he wants to be. He's got to love it. That worked.
Oh, yeah. That was a situation where he might have been able to get that kill.
Yeah.
He looked like he was trying to back off and play the range game a little bit. Maybe if he just stayed in melee range, he could flash follow instantly and get one more auto attack. That's all I would have needed. But hey, you got to be happy with a flash force and a TP force as well.
Absolutely. And now you get your jungler to come up. You're like, I have flash, you have flash, and he doesn't. Almost makes it too easy.
1 + 1 = 2.
We're getting somewhere.
Might wait till 6 as well. Once you have the Jarvan ultimate, it's all too easy on a flashless GP. Doesn't even have stopwatch with this build because he didn't start in the inspiration tree, and you see already
the punish. Oh, hello. Oh, the shift comes in. Flash is down there. That's going to be a very, very dead auto. Next hit comes in, and that's Kadir coming up with a kill. First blood for him, and bot side getting a bit of assist goal.
Heyo. Both side lanes off to very hot starts here for OpTic. They both have forced a flash on their own just through straight landing. So very impressive stuff out of Andy and Winter and Dhokla. And finally, Kadir says, I picked my target. I'm going in the bot lane.
Yeah.
They find Auto for a free kill. And now they still have the option to go topside later. We'll take another look at this one. It starts off very well. Just jump on. Don't quite land the slow, but you get the W from Braum onto the Tristana rocket jump for your first gap closer. And then you have the free flash follow. So really smart gank setup there. And easy for the Jarvan to follow after as well.
Braum's just a passenger in that lane. Love it. And this punishment from Dhokla in the top lane here, every time he gets that passive shield up, which would be towards the damage he's fighting, Fallnbandit almost has to wait it out or auto it off before he can really get some good damage down.
And this is a little scary because they do have a very effective snowball comp with Jarvan, Syndra. She's not much of a roamer, but if she ever does get out of laning phase to wrap around behind a bot lane, she can be a nightmare to try and deal with. And with that bot lane control that they already have, you see Winter out of laning phase, starting to get some vision control down around mid lane. Palafox doesn't even necessarily need to kill the TF anymore. He might be able to out-roam him too.
So we see Dhokla doing well on the top side, and this sometimes becomes a question. Like, how do you decide whether you go for your top laner that's winning, or as a jungler, you just kind of go for another lane and say, you can do well too?
It's hard to say. I personally think, you know, holding down a GP is pretty important.
Right.
And so I think that makes a lot of sense. Ezreal is one who, if you hold him down, is pretty effective as well because he starts being very far behind on his tier timings and things like that. So I think it's very situational to the matchups that you're playing, but here either one actually works pretty well because Ezreal from behind, he's not a crit auto-attacking late-game threat. He's a Q spammer, and so once you put him behind, he loses effectiveness very quickly.
It looks like they will add a little bit of pressure to the top side. I was going to say Dhokla hasn't played it hard. Remember that flash is still very much down for Fallnbandit. He's waiting. He's like, Have you gotten an assist? Okay, you did. You got your W down. That's fantastic. Perfect.
Yeah, I wonder, did he even get the W, or maybe it was just the E?
Did he fly through?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but here you see just how easy it is when there's no stopwatch, there's no flash available. Camille has huge gank setup range. Jarvan much the same way. Very easy to find that kill. And here, they definitely saw the Alistar sneak in, so Phil's not going to get too much done.
He's like standing in the shade, but he has walked through the ward. Oh, no.
Uh-oh, he's level 5.
Not level 6. Misses the scatter. It could have been followed up with the ultimate.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea there of playing it a little slow. Not 100% sure where OmarGod is, I believe. So you just got to kill him the top side. Don't risk it. And there you see the flash E, the ultimate, nowhere for Fallnbandit to go. Jarvan comes in.
Got the W.
Yeah, got the W.
Oh, the E assist. You're right. Yeah.
He got
aura,
the W, I believe. So either way, that's a dead GP.
Yep. Indeed. A wise choice.
Guy got banned out.
Yeah. Always and forever. So blue buff over to Palafox. He'll start having, or continue to have a nice lane. 75 to 67 there as they added a bit of pressure onto Tuesday to start things off. His teleport will be up soon, and now we have a level 6 TF. Unfortunate side lanes are having some trouble. He won't be able to port right away and help them out.
And this gold lead is a little, how to say, facetious. I don't know quite the right word, but it's coming off strange generation, mostly from TF passive and GP parlay gold, as well as the Kleptomancy down the bot lane. They have a lot more gold generation, so even though the gold lead is equal, it's not quite through any of the regular means by which you acquire gold in this game. And the OpTic have a lot more pressure in this game than any gold lead would indicate.
A good way to put it.
Yeah, so it's not an even game despite what the gold lead would make you think. Look at the kill counter. Usually you would look at the gold lead as opposed to the kill counter. This time, definitely look at the kill counter.
They'll have to pay for that. It's like having credit cards.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it. A lot of Kleptomancy picked up here for Otto, so he can now keep himself a little healthier in lane, or at least stacked up for a moment. 93 to 85, so no real separation in the CS in the mid lane. Tuesday is still holding very well. He's just hoping he doesn't get a Jarvan to say, well, I did do well against my mid laner, but not once it was 2v1. That situation always makes it a little tougher.
It's the only lane left for him to go. Looks like he was focusing topside again, wants to keep snowballing. Big minion wave up there, but good read by OmarGod, providing some coverage for Fallnbandit to make sure that he can, collect this wave easily enough.
Winter towards the top side. This is OpTic feeling very comfortable in the laning phase, obviously knowing that Otto did back, but Rift Herald possibly being a thing here as they have support from Winter to start things off, also a ignite for him, so if any fight happens, they could go for that kill.
Yeah, the aggressive summoner choice for the Braum, wants to use it in one of these lanes. Not going to find anyone though, and has to make his way back down as Andy has gotten recalled.
Great timing, though, to have that wave pushed up, all that time for Braum to roam, and then recall back. Otto and Phil kind of getting their fill of the bot right now from Andy and Winter as they return. We'll see if they actually try to get an engage on. They're backing right away, so it looks like they're going to quick completion on an item as they just came out to push the wave.
Lots of recalls in the bot lane, these kind of staggered situations. You push in, I recall, I push in, you go back.
And look at the swap, too. Phil is not going to go back down to the bot lane right away, so they already want to keep Otto super safe in his play. Say, don't die. We're going to try to activate something on the top side.
Yeah, it looks like they are expecting some topside pressure. Maybe they will hope Dhokla jumps in there, but it's a bit of a weird timing with the wave pushing away. They're going to sneak into laning phase. This is a fair amount of resources that they're, sinking into this, but it has a pretty high chance of working out once they clear this wave.
Oh, ever so slow. Oh, feels bad, man. Shoot him, barrel him, do it. You got to. Oh,
and with that,
that was a hell of a walk for Phil.
Oh, he's teleporting right back into the lane, though.
Oh, and Phil has already gotten back to base, so it's only going to be a 3v1. No, they still have the TP. They were waiting so patiently for this. Antsy Pants Phil already back for the rest of the team. Get some love onto Dhokla.
Nice play there by CLGA Academy. Find the kill on the top side to try and stabilize that matchup. Do have to give up an Ocean Dragon and a fair amount of time for it.
Uh-oh.
OpTic still has pressure on this bot side, working around mid, trying to get this first turret down.
Nice word from Phil. Keep himself safe as he gets back to the fight. They shouldn't be able to do full damage to the turret. 2 down. What's their target? Just a red card to slow him on the exit.
And during that time, CLGA Academy sticking up in the top side, trying to work this turret down and get that onto Fallnbandit. A really nice equalization play there by CLGA Academy.
Blue team's turret has been taken down on the top side, as you heard. 12 minutes into the game here, and things are starting to go a little back and forth. We'll see this top lane gank one more time as Dhokla went in feeling confident, but things were all quiet on the home front.
Tough situation. Might have been able to still find a kill there on the Fallnbandit if it was just OmarGod, but Tuesday with the TF Ultimate able to join in that fight as well. And just a little too greedy there on the side by Dhokla. It's one of the things I think might be fair to criticize him a little bit for, is because despite his good laning stats in a lot of these carry matchups that he takes, they haven't been able to convert them to a lot of wins. There was a game where he was like 3-0 on Aurelia after Acadian snowballed him, but couldn't quite convert it into the late game team fights. There, with a TF on the enemy team, you have to be a little bit careful. But that was a pretty quick teleport by Tuesday from the mid lane. Kind of went out right away.
It'd be a good focus as well, as we were talking about Dhokla a little bit, to focus or to find out if he starts to use those advantages. Like we were talking about, Acadian gave him here. It seems he's a little more adept to go forward with the 1 kill he had, or save his flash to know they'll have it for a later gank. Make those kind of plays that you would hope to get out of your academy players as the season goes on. The decision making is easy to second guess. That's all there is to say about that.
It's very easy to watch someone teleport in and die and say, hey, you shouldn't have done that. But it's a little harder to spot out in the moment.
Yep. OmarGod back to his jungle. Quiet game from him. You get a little participation on an assist in that last soiree. We'll see where they go from here.
And it's a nice play by the side of CLGA Academy in protecting Fallnbandit. OmarGod had been up there previously to deter a dive. This time a minion wave is coming in again, and once again OmarGod is on his krugs with that timing. So he's making it seems like a pretty conscious effort to be around Fallnbandit whenever there's these pressure points.
Like baiting. There's the jump. Gap closer used by Dhokla. A little too much aggression from Fallnbandit though after he got it. Great barrel hit. Turns the tide of that fight and almost kind of made that look like it was a 1v1, like there was no one to follow. Good hold by OmarGod.
Yeah, it did seem a little aggressive on the side of the GP, so maybe he sniffed out that OmarGod was up there. Camille did not want a piece of that at all. And you see Palafox is doing his best to try and pressure Tuesday there. You see him just constantly spamming out spells, chunking it low, and it looks like he might have overextended doing that.
Flash heal, damage going down. Oh, gonna get out. Tuesday stays alive. So does Palafox, however. They get to turn this one around. What a collapse from OpTic here. That's not even a TP from the Camille. They might get built. And that's gonna be the kill going over to Palafox to start things off here in the mid lane. Sorry, Phil.
It was a bit of a crazy fight there. CLG Academy using the Alistar with the Unsealed Spellbook, teleport in behind. But the rest of OpTic was already kind of in that area. Jarvan was just nearby, very easy for him to collapse. And then Andy and Winter having pressure in the bot side could follow up as well. So bit of a mistake there by Phil, throwing away the lead. Generally speaking, you know, it's OpTic that's going to want to attack the global. That's one of the things you hear the most, and they should focus on putting their globals elsewhere. Gets turned around on them a little bit here, as it's easy for Kadir to collapse on this. Not great communication, though. I mean, there was a ward teleporting in lane, and no one really called it out until Phil was already on the backside of it. But you see just how much CC they have for him to stop him from getting out. Like you said, Dhokla roaming down, Andy jumping in as well. Winter gets involved, so everyone joining in there. 5-man in the mid lane.
Kills around the board. Bot lane with the assists. So not doing too bad for OpTic, but they're still getting participation in these fights. A true shot barrage from Auto on the bot side. They want to get the wave clear. They want to keep their turret up and at least deliver some damage to that OpTic bot side turret. CS is decently even around the board. Kind of factored in from Palafox to Auto on either side, if you will. 180 to 150 and 140, 150-ish to 168. But still, we're talking about that gold they're able to get from TF from the Kleptomancies, putting them up just a little bit.
Yep, Kleptomancies, passive gold generation, GP up 1,000, despite Both of them having 1 kill and the same amount of gold, basically.
Tactical sweep. Hextech
Not
ultimatum.
alone.
What is the ultimatum that you give him? This is the question. Wow, there's a third one coming up. I love the ball coming in from Palafox. He's like, here you go, guys. Great job.
Yeah, Tuesday pops his ultimate, sees Palafox there, and he's like, you know what? You are alone, actually, Fallnbandit. No one is coming to help you. They're
going to head down towards the bot side. They say turret or death for Andy. And it looks like they're just going to get the turret if Andy plays this one safe.
Yep, they use the blast cone over. Andy's going to back out here and should be a turret for CLG. So a nice answer back from the top side gank. And there's nothing even they can really grab in the mid lane either, as Tuesday's already made his way back there and will be able to wave clear.
Slow going around the map after the first few fast kills to start the game off. The regular turrets being taken down on the outside. It's a little Rift Herald objective here for Kadir. He's been having a great Jarvan game for himself. Much like Wiggly, full participation to start the game off at 2-0-2.
No turrets taken on the side of OpTic, 18 minutes in the game. The Rift Herald will hopefully help with that, but mid turret's low enough that they can maybe get it on their own. So see where they choose to use that one, as both teams having a little bit of a party in the mid lane.
Taking a little damage now that they have Auto up here to throw out some shots. For mana already finished up for him. Lucidity boots as well to keep that cooldown flying as he starts to do a bit more damage. Figure out where the next activation is. We've had a lot of Baron kind of focus. I wouldn't say a lot last game. It was so quick there was only one. But definitely fight around wards. Not so much the dragon. Fight around what would be the Baron coming out.
Yeah, not quite as an obvious win condition.
Yeah.
CLG Academy have great team fighting. Pretty much everyone on that comp, but arguably a TF is great in team fights, and OpTic has a little bit more early game focus, but there's no joke in the late game either, as Tristana's a bit of a monster. So both teams can play this one a little bit slow if they want to. Auto, despite the troubles in the bot lane early on, really isn't held down too much. Already has his 2 items completed, a little bit ahead of Andy, as they have no global gold, no turrets down still.
Slowly walking in. Whether it's for Fallnbandit's gank or counter gank, they have given, as you said, a lot of pressure towards the top side of this map. Trying to keep Dhokla down. Already has a good bit of damage from the fights he's been getting in there. Probably keeping that average at the top of the charts. Kadir all over the map, as we said before, and there hasn't even been that much counter jungling to start off this game. But we also, on the other side, haven't seen too much from OmarGod. The activations have kind of been on when Fallnbandit or when that gate is up for Twisted Fate and he's ready.
We also have a bit of a lane swap coming in for OpTic. You have Andy working on this wave up in the top side with Camille pushing down the bot lane. Baron's up in 20 seconds, but it's a little bit early to need to worry about that. There's the Cloud Drake. No one seems too interested, as that's been pretty neglected overall today. No one wants their Cloud Dragons.
Too bad the first one was Ocean. So continuing. Could have just keep Cloud Drakes all game. Still alive. Still alive.
There's the scariest one. No one wants to mess with the Cloud Drake. That's the real reason.
Quickest.
Yeah, it has the highest single target DPS.
Oh, watch out, watch out. Winter, not in too bad of a spot here. This is a lot of jockeying for position where somebody's waiting for the mistake or the perfect hit. If Phil can get in there for one, scatter's pretty good. No follow-up, knowing the Alistar ultimate would also be there. Dhokla taking a bit of damage in that bot lane from Fallnbandit, as you see on the top left of your screen. He's now forced to back up a bit. Probably had a barrel hiding in that brush.
Palafox way too far forward.
Just to the right, but is the fight good enough? They take down Palafox immediately as he tries to take down Tuesday. Tuesday's back into the fight. We're looking for the gold card. Finds it. It's going to be over the left side, actually. They lock down Winter, so he can't do any more damage. Dhokla's trying to find a way in as well. Or is he waiting? It doesn't seem like the team actually wants to fully go into the fight. Kadir a little low, and Winter doesn't want to be that meat shield.
Not too bad for OpTic to be able to trade back 1-for-1 after a very precarious start to the fight. Palafox was just not respecting how many people have been hovering around mid lane ever since these 2 turret drops. CLG Academy does have a pretty threatening 1-3-1 comp where you can put the TF in a side lane. Syndra really struggles in long side lanes, so that's a good option for them. And understandably, Palafox wants to be in the mid lane, but you need to understand auto and filler in the mid lane too, so he kind of gets collapsed on as all of CLG Academy was hovering around there.
True Shot Barrage is up. It's not going to do too much damage to Rift Herald. Can't stop him from getting out. But it! Hit it!
Hey.
Oh, boom.
Unfortunate that they couldn't get that turret without having to use the Rift Herald.
Yeah.
Palafox have been able to whittle it down in the 1v1, but after getting all that side lane pressure, no chance to really auto the turret anymore. And here you see just kind of 1v1ing the AD carry. Almost actually gets him. Actually,
I didn't see that. That was close.
Yeah, I didn't know it was that close either. So in hindsight, I have a hard time blaming Palafox for going for that one.
My eyes focused on Palafox after I knew his target lived, and holy macaroni. He's just walking a tightrope out there trying to stay alive.
Haven't seen too much Syndra in a while, but apparently AD carries still hate her.
Well, I wondered too, and I switched off because at first I thought that was TF in the Ezreal Explorer. So I was like, oh, he hasn't been killing Tuesday. He's fine. He has a Rod of Ages. It's not going to kill him in an instant ult. So that was very different.
Yeah, Merc Treads with Rod of the Ages has a lot more defenses than
looked away.
Justin Ezreal with no health or MR items.
See if that happens again, and we will make note of the target for the correct call. Palafox and team now looking to control the bottom side of the map. A little love for the Windrake here. Looks like he'll get taken down. It'll be 2 over to the side of OpTic as they've been nice and controlling these in the early game.
Hey, looking at the item choice by Palafox, have to wonder if the Void Staff second was the right call. I mean, there are a fair amount of Merc Treads on the side of OpTic, or excuse me, CLG, but you can just get a Leandry's there, and you probably would have had that kill with the extra bit of Spell Pen. It's one of those things where Void Staff is never bad. I would never say Void Staff is bad, but
you just want to be voiding more. Like, you want to have more behind it.
Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where, you know, they'll build more MR and Void will still maintain its effectiveness, but if you had a Leandry's at the 20-minute mark with double pen items, maybe you have enough to find those kills.
True. Glacial Prison. This is the crowd control train. Hard to say. Winter's going to ride it. He's actually going to be able to get off early on that stop. Now Palafox looks to get some orbs set up on the ground for a nice hit, but he does not have a target anymore. Back and forth from lane to lane. That bot lane turret for CLG is just hanging on by a thread, but they're not going to be able to get to it too soon on the side of OpTic. It's all CLG in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, they've done a good job keeping their pressure up. Nice pick-off attempt in the jungle, but you're doing it onto an enemy tank, and OpTic was able to collapse. Not actually able to pressure the turret after all that either, so a good look, but no returns on it.
Time to sweeper clear. See both of those going off. Upgraded sweepers already as we're quite late in the game. 16s are almost there. Will be big for Palafox when he hits that. Could almost be 2 levels over Tuesday at the time, but a level 3 ultimate from Syndra does the boom boom. We'll see this top turret. Possibly another one for OpTic. They got quite a bit of gold just sitting in those turrets. They could probably cap them out on another item.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a game that is very possible to get back into. You just need one good team fight.
Oh, one good 1v1. Shield goes down. Little Sterix Gauge Rage for Fallnbandit. Is it enough? Gets one shot in. Knows he doesn't have the tactical sweep. But also the gate coming in. Andy in a bad spot. He got baited into the fight. And Dhokla just left.
Hey, Dhokla. Not on the same page there. Dhokla sees the teleport coming in and he's like, you know what?
Boy.
I'm going to leave this fight. Andy wanted to help him out. Dhokla didn't want the help.
It's just kind of one of those oh well moments. He got me. Keeps himself alive, but we see how that fight is turning there. Fallnbandit takes a few big hits, but understand there's cooldowns on the side of Dhokla, so he just keeps laying out the barrels and delivering right back.
That's why the Sterix Gaze second is such a good item too, because it buys you that time for your TF to get in range to assist you in these kind of split push fights. And it's going to make Dokla's life kind of hell the entire game. You know, this is not a situation that he's ever going to get away from.
How's that trial by Firefield? Ooh, flashes out. Is it going to be another one? He has a flash. He has flash Q if you want. Yeah, he's like, do I have the... I'm not playing around anymore.
Yeah, Fallnbandit taking his time. Knew he was going to get that kill.
Ooh. Good
play by him, punishing Dhokla for coming back into the lane and wanting to push that out just a little bit more. But surprise, neither have actually backed at all, and GP's got those oranges to eat.
Everything is okay. Just testing over the wall with a Winter's Bite. They find OmarGod. Good shield there, negating a bit of the damage. Also, hoping to block some on the turret. So having that mid up is actually stopping CLG from really pushing out into the map, but that doesn't mean they can't be on the side of the map. Fallnbandit is having a field day now.
Oh yeah, this is one of the problems with GP is he's actually no joke in split push either. I mean, he does get bullied early by a lot of carry matchups, and then when people get ahead of him, yeah, they can keep killing him over and over, but if you start falling behind a GP, his 1v1 is actually pretty strong. With his passive, Trial by Fire, he actually melts turrets pretty quickly as well. He's starting to get to that point where you're a little worried. He's going to have TF support the entire game as well. So CLG will have a lot of options once they basically have control over this game. But if they get a little bit more, they start choking your vision out. You have to walk forward. TF can ult on top of you. If you don't know where he is, maybe he's teleporting down to the bot side, and then GP can use his ult in the Baron fight. I mean, they have a lot of choices on how they want to close this game out.
And it's kind of been what crushed the game a little bit for OpTic on the early side. We saw Dhokla playing around the window of being ganked, but forgetting about the window of Twisted Fate, forgetting that's back in the game, can sometimes throw a player off their best.
And it's something that's very difficult when adjusting to competitive play. Dhokla, a pretty new player to the scene, all things considered, and it's tough. Maybe he was confident in the matchup itself. He was playing it pretty well. Camille into the GP. He took Camille first. Was like, I'll smash anybody.
Considering the counter gank at that point.
Yeah, and he was doing fine. Typical solo queue stuff, but then the communication level ramps up and the coordination with the globals comes in, and he starts struggling from that position on.
Still pretty deadly if he can find a target, but right now that's only been an opponent Fallnbandit in the side lane. Good damage from Palafox. Actually does finally have that Leandries you were talking about earlier, and we can see it cutting through with the extra damage now. Leaving a little bit of burn on the backside of OmarGod. Starting to collapse slightly. You do have Dhokla coming up. Kadir looking for the initiation, a quick swipe back, gold card in the hands of Tuesday. They don't decide to use too much as the orbs are getting set up for Palafox. Small things in mind, nothing activated here from OpTic.
Pretty defensive play, all things considered, by CLG. They have the GP ult and teleport available, so if they wanted to try and kite that one out, maybe they call for that ult, see if OpTic keep chasing through. Decide not to do any of that, just burn the flash to get out there on Phil and disengage that completely, but they're struggling to crack this mid-turn. It's really important that they find a chance to, because it's hard to get great vision control without that.
Yep. It helped out Fallnbandit so much if they can get that kind of wall of wards or even members throughout the jungle. Oh, much faster. There's Twisted Fate. Kadir on the back. Nice ulti. Looking for the predict. Throwing it forward, but is it enough? Huge damage actually going on to Auto. Immediately, the focus is huge coming in from OpTic, and CLG is trying to answer back. Phil is getting his, and that means he goes down. As CLG was chasing, OpTic had enough time to assess the chase.
CLG Academy ended up opening up mostly onto Winter in that situation.
They all hit and they wanted everything.
Yeah, so they end up not having great target selection. It allows Palafox on the side to find a great angle onto Auto. They finish him off. And with that, they actually throw their lead away completely. OpTic going to be able to grab the Baron after that 3-0. And now it's going to be a very dicey situation for CLG. Like you said, there was a fair amount of standing gold left up. They did grab that top turret, and now they're back in the lead with a 1,000 gold advantage.
Staving off the early game. And still doing pretty well from the jungle. Kadir here thinking to be the focused. That block as well. Actually, that was Andy's Glacial Prison, and then he jumped and that block was there.
Yeah, so well played by Winter, to be fair. And then they kind of kept going on him once he was the target instead of playing it a little bit slower. They should have known where Palafox was coming from. They had the TF ultimate. They should have all the information to know that this will be a full 5v5. And then despite that, Auto still gets too close and he gets blown up by Palafox there. So once that Ezreal goes down, that's one of your main DPS sources. All things considered, TF is not a great team fighter. And so there you have it, OpTic grabbing control of this game now.
And it's actually, you usually don't say this, but this is a tough game for Ezreal. So many things can jump at him, lunge at him, scatter the weak from Syndra, very long range. His positioning is not easy in these fights, as you would assume.
Absolutely not, but he is still Ezreal, and so...
He is still Ezreal, he's got a job.
If you're playing, Kog'Maw, it's even harder. So Ezreal has no right to complain ever in the team fight. Like, oh, my positioning's hard. It's like, God forbid you play a mobile AD carry.
Oh. cleanse there. Gets himself to safety. That will be his summoner. Still has the stopwatch up if anything gets too crazy. But right now the wards are being set up by OpTic, so they do have that vision towards the top and the bottom side. I mean, look what happened when the mid turret went down first and they were able to work the outsides. But the mid turret going down last is such a hard structure to do for the side of CLG.
Yeah, it just provides so much, stability for a team.
It does.
If anything is going wrong in your jungle, you just have a turret so much closer by to retreat to, and so CLG could never really get good vision control in the jungle. They didn't feel ever comfortable really just pushing it down as a 5-man. They weren't really strong enough for that. And despite Fallnbandit's success in split pushing, they make one mistake in the side lane, and now OpTic have complete control.
Ooh, the wave clear hurting a little bit as well. A lot of AP on this side with the Baron minions coming in, so that means OpTic's going to have time to take a few shots at the turret on each wave. Mid's pushing in, and they can even route behind Fallnbandit. Ooh, Hextech ultimatum under the turret. That puts TF in a pretty good spot. Tuesday comes in with the red card, gets the wild cards out for minimal damage, and OpTic's able to kind of recoup on that one and say, we don't fully want this, just the turret for now.
That was a little aggressive, but they're able to play it well enough. Dhokla gets pulled in by the flash from Fallnbandit. And interestingly enough, even before that, Palafox has shot out a 3-orb ultimate at an ulted Alistar and did basically nothing. So as he wrapped around there, he didn't have that much of an extra damage threat for Fallnbandit. So that was probably not going to work out. And all things considered, getting a turret and no deaths is not too bad for how that started for OpTic.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems like you kind of got the, what's called the twisted advanced treatment. You pulled in a little too far. You thought you had a good hit.
Vibe problem, like the 6,000 range engage where you Q flash ult somebody and then they flash away and you're like, where?
I want to stop. I want to stop.
Where's my team?
Did not want. Or you just ping them and say, team.
Yeah, I got into the fight. Where were you guys?
I see your flashes up. 4,000 gold here for OpTic. They have beaten the bankroll of Counter Logic Gaming and their kleptomancy and passive ways of investing. Let's see if they can keep it up here. All those turrets definitely having a big factor in that. Armor shield comes up. Hextech ultimatum goes down. He says, peekaboo! Surprise, Dhokla. Holy crap. Is he going to get the solo? Does not. Almost gets it in a what was becoming a 3v1 situation, but I'm sure Fallnbandit's going to reconsider those situations now. Kadir flashes there. Cataclysm would not take him down. Huge heal and the orange coming out from the orange, I should say. Out of Cataclysm, Glacial Fissure right through the uprights will still slow them as they have to get on the other side of the Glacial Fissure. And OmarGod, he is tanky. Down to the first half of his health. Now the second half coming through. They throw down the Gangplank ultimate as a last resort, but they still have OpTic coming at them. Top lane is being pushed in here as they try to sort out the map on Counter Logic Gaming's side.
Yeah, sort out the map is a great way of putting it because no one has minion waves in any position to do anything with that. CLG go for a really aggressive pickoff on the Camille, almost backfires. Then OpTic did not focus minion waves and then sent 4 men on this wild goose chase of a kill. So at the end of all of that, really not much of an impact on the game. I mean, OmarGod's still dead for 20 seconds. They have a minion wave now, so maybe OpTic can try and push the dirt down, but they have a tall ask, and yeah, there goes the minion wave.
3-man pop. Andy gets the flash. Keep himself safe as Unbreakable comes up. Dhokla comes in, slowed down immediately so he doesn't have the catch, but he gets in there with the lunge. Tuesday on the stopwatch. Is the clock enough? Whoa. It is not. CLG might have to call that timeout.
And
that's the double kill coming in.
Team fight by Palafox there. Drops the ult on the higher HP target so that he gets the balls to line up for the E onto the Ezreal. Huge play by Palafox there, basically getting his team an inhibitor.
Multitasking in a single fight. The man alone doing great things, but the rest of his team is making them greater. 12-5 here, 35 minutes in. They're looking to put the final touches on the Nexus turret as OpTic kind of turned the early part of this game around. Able to find that mid-game Baron and possibly the Nexus now.
Yeah, I thought he had gotten them the inhibitor, but he actually got them the entire game. We talked about one of the solo laners needing to step up, and Palafox, 4-1-5, is able to lead his team to victory here over CLG Academy.
Crazy play coming in there towards the late game. And we'll have to see what OpTic can continue to do as they move on. Strong comebacks, but that's what we've kind of had to see from a lot of teams in the early parts of the game. Hey, we're behind. Oh, man, we need to come back. in kind of crazy fashion it's been happening, so it doesn't look so bad, but you don't ever want to have these games where you're always coming from behind.
Yeah, it was definitely a game that both teams were misplaying at different portions. The top lane, Dhokla threw his lead away a little bit, allowed the bot lane to start getting back in control, and then both teams are chasing around for a ton of kills, not really focusing on minions and objectives, and then CLG lose one fight too close to their base, and suddenly the game's over out of nowhere.
And we'll start right with the replays going in. OpTic here taking control with the 29-minute 3-for-0, and it was the assessment of the fight. They're like, oh man, we're getting gated on. This is a kite. And they're like, wait, no, it's not. It's a fight.
Yeah, so you see Otto just not paying attention to Palafox, who has that TF ultimate indicator on his head, so he knows he's there. Just
That's a good point.
Had a little bit of tunnel vision, gets blown up by the Syndra. Almost happened earlier in the game as well. Once that AD carries down, it's really hard for them to actually take that fight. You know, that's their main form of DPS. He's dead. They lose their jungler, and it's Baron for free, basically, to OpTic.
Pressuring in super fast as well, knowing the power that Palafox was actually kind of building up. OpTic take a 3-for-0 in the mid lane in our next replay, and this power just continuously kept coming for them. And you looked at the turn once again. And
this is just such a scrappy, kind of random fight. Your jungler's dead. You're opting into a brute force in the mid lane. Dhokla kicks things off, but the star of this fight is going to be Palafox. Watch how he plays this. Waits for the Zhonya's to come out. Ults Otto. Gets the last hit there, and then gets the stun from the balls on Otto to hit him as well. Everyone was thinking, okay, clear target, Zhonya's guy, finish him off. But Palafox knows he can get 2 for the price of 1.
And the back line, such good play there for them, coming out very strong. And now we see OpTic surging forward a little bit. Both of these teams, I believe, 2 and 3 as they came in today, so able to find themselves a win on the side of OpTic.
Yeah, it's really a big boon for them, especially because, like we were saying, the last game kind of came off a Veigar pick that was a little bit weird, throwing people for a loop. It was good to see them be able to win this game in such a dominant fashion off the back of Palafox.
Absolutely. So there is more league action coming up after the break. Yes, I know. It's incredibly exciting because I'm ready for game, so you should be. We'll return with game 4 of the night. Clash between 100 Thieves and FlyQuest. Don't touch that mouse. Oh, hello. Oh, the shift comes in. Flash is down there. That's going to be a very, very dead auto. Next hit comes in. Just to the right, but is the fight good enough? They take down Palafox immediately as he tries to take down Tuesday. Tuesday's back into the fight, looking for the gold card, finds it. It's damage actually going on to Otto. Immediately, the focus is huge coming in from OpTic, and CLG is trying to answer back. Phil is getting his with the lunge. Tuesday on the stopwatch. Is the clock enough? It is not. CLG might have to call that time out.